is to be aware. So you got to be intentional, but if you really want to maximize your intentionality, you need to be aware. And what I mean by that is you have to know yourself to grow yourself. I love this quote from the poet Samuel Johnson. He says, almost every man wastes part of his life in attempts to display qualities in which he does not possess. I'm gonna read that just one more time so that you can let that soak in for just a moment. He says, almost every man wastes part of his life in attempts to display qualities in which he does not possess. There has to be some kind of awareness. You have to know yourself in order to intentionally grow yourself. You have to know your weaknesses. You have to know your strengths. You have to know what gives you energy and joy. And you honestly have to know what just drains the life out of you. Let me give you an example of why you need to know really. I'm going to call them your struggles and your strengths, or you have to be aware of those. Everyone talks about being well rounded. I really want to encourage you to ditch that idea, right? Everybody says, hey, you gotta be well rounded. You gotta be all things to all people. You gotta be where you can do whatever needs to be done at the time. And I just want to encourage you. You got to just throw that idea out of the window. It's honestly some of the worst advice that people could give. Now, when I say that, yes, you need to admit your weaknesses and your struggles. And not only just admit them, you actually need to learn how to manage them. Because if you don't manage your weaknesses and your struggles, if you don't manage them, they will become obstacles to your excellence. Right? You've got to learn how to manage them. You've got to learn how to control them. You've got to know, hey, this is an area in which I'm weak. This is an area in which I struggle. And you have to be able to admit that. You have to be able to know that. You got to be aware of it, and you got to say, this is where I struggle and this is where I'm weak. And I got to learn how to manage that so that it doesn't become an obstacle to your excellence. But do not focus on them. Don't focus all of your energy and all of your efforts on your weaknesses and trying to grow them. Because, best of all, if you put all of your energy and all of your effort into growing in an area of weakness, at best, no matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you try, the best you may achieve in that area of weakness is being mediocre. That's the best, right? I'm weak here. I'm struggling here. And so the best I could, I'm going to focus all my energy and effort. And I'm going to grow in this area of weakness. And the best that you're going to do, if you put all of your effort, all of your time, all of your focus on it, the best you're going to get to is going to be mediocre compared to everybody else, right? And what you really need to do is say, okay, I'm going to manage my weaknesses. I'm going to manage my struggles so that they don't become obstacles to my excellence. But if I focus on my strengths, then I have the capacity and potential for excellence. And not only that, but you're going to get a ton of joy in the process because you already are good at it, right? You want to find people say, hey, I want to be passionate about this, or I haven't really worked out in my life. Not a workout buff. I just started trying to discipline myself to do some working out. I found a good community, which really has helped me out with that because I enjoy being with people and I'm competitive. And so I found like a CrossFit community that pushes me and things like that. But for me, I don't get a ton of joy in it because I'm not good at it. And that's, if you want to find somebody who says, man, I want to be passionate about this, you're passionate about the things that you're good at. So be aware, find out your struggles so that you can manage them, and then find out your strengths so that you can focus on them and so that you can invest in those strengths. Because when you do that, you have a higher capacity, you have a higher potential to actually be excellent in those things that you're investing in. I just don't believe that we were created to be great at everything. So learn to be intentional and learn to be aware. You have to know yourself to grow yourself.